For those listening at home, I am Crystal Govin from the USA, and this is
Matthew Requa, also from the USA.
This afternoon, the teams will compete for gold in team match play. The team consists out of one.
So as you can see on the screen here, the women's team, Slovenia, lost to Italy, but they won the bronze medal against Great Britain, last World Field Champions, and Germany beat Great Britain to face Italy in this match.
Italy gets a chance to take the title on its home turf, so it should be an interesting match.
So as you can see here, the teams are being introduced. First out is Italy, followed by Germany. We have a lot of experienced shooters on both teams. We have past World Field individual champions as well as some team champions.
This is going to be a very interesting finals venue. As you can see, it's on the bottom of a ski slope. We have almost 38-degree angle from the bottom to the top of the targets. So it's going to be some very challenging conditions for the gold medal match.
Germany, Martina Boscher, Caroline Landesfein, Lisa Unruh.
Some of you may recognize Lisa from the Indoor World Championships in Vegas.
Representing Italy per l'Italia, Irene Franchi.
And Irene won the women's gold individual medal last World Field. So again, a very experienced team on both sides.
The judge for this match is l'arbitro per questo scontro, Brasco Ignac. Athletes, please take your positions.
Each team will shoot 4 targets, 1 arrow per person at each target.
Each team will be able to choose between its compound and recurve shooter who will shoot first, but the bare bone shooter must shoot last because they have to move up to a forward stake.
Each team has 2 minutes to shoot their 3 arrows.
The first target one.
And the higher seeded team will get to shoot first, this first go around. And after that, the team that is trailing will get to lead off.
Starting on target number 1, a 60-centimeter face. So the distance will be 45 meters.
So we have Irene, their compound shooter, up first. And she shoots a 5. The scoring rings are 6 is the center of the yellow, a 5 is the rest of the yellow, and it's 4, 3, 2, 1 down from there in the black.
6.
Now you see them moving up to the 35-meter stake for the bare bow shooter.
Cross slopes are extremely difficult for recurve shooters because you're standing at an angle and the target's at an angle, and you tend to cant your bow just a little bit, so it will be not surprising if they both shoot a little right here. As you see there.
And that's a 4.
15 points. 15 punti per l'Italia col 4-5.
So 15 points for Italy, and now it will be Germany's chance for 2 minutes on the clock. They also decide to lead off with their compound shooter.
Compounds generally have an easier time with the cross slope due to having a bubble on their scope. 6 for the compound.
Now Lisa is up.
Follows her teammate right into the 6th round.
So if she can match the other barebow shooter with a 4, they'll have a 1-point lead. Anything better will obviously increase the score.
It's a 3.
That's a 3, which ties
15
it
points
up
for
after
both
1
teams,
target.
unofficially.
3 more to go.
We have to
Italy will shoot
confirm
first
the
on
result.
target number 2.
Before we move on to target number 2, abbiamo 15 punti per ambedue le squadre da confermare effettivamente ancora.
For those unfamiliar at home with barebow, they do not have a sight, stabilizers, and you'll see them anchoring a little differently on their face than a typical recurve shooter.
How they judge distance is that they, what is called string walking, they will count certain strands on their serving and then grip the string at that point so they can aim with the point of the arrow.
What we have now is
What you see here,
40
Germany, we see them holding up their bow.
centimeter.
That's to figure out the angle, because while the meters are given the distance to the target, archers do not know the angle of the degree in which to shoot the target. So they must estimate this on their own, and there's a lot of different systems for doing that. And you see, again, them raising their bows up to try to get an idea of how steep these angles really are.
The steeper the angle, generally is the shorter the distance you would put on your sight tape. So if you're shooting a 30-meter target at a 45-degree angle, you would shoot approximately 75% of the total distance.
L'arbitro spiega chi comincia.
But with barebow, this comes with an added difficulty because you tend to short or not draw back as far during your shot. Then this will affect your arrow in 2 ways. It will obviously slow down the arrow, and since the arrow is not going as quickly, the arrows tend to be a little stiffer. So for a right-handed archer, it will shoot a little left, and for a left-handed archer, it will shoot a little right. So you have to be very careful where you're drawing, because barebows also don't have a clicker that gives a recurve shooter how far to draw back.
So we see Irene leading off again. Let's see how they did with judging that angle. We have a 5, and it looks like perfect height, so I'd say they got that pretty good.
It's a 3.
That looks like a 3 high.
13 points. Sorry, 8 points at the moment. 23 total.
Looks like the footing might be a little tricky here, so she's trying to cut up the grass a little to find a good place to balance herself to be able to make the best possible shot. See her leaning back to keep, again, the draw length as similar as possible to her normal draw length.
And
I think that's a low 4.
Yep. Give Italy 12 points for this target. Let's see if Germany can match.
Now Germany shoots. Ora la Germania.
Low 5.
Germany with a
So she might have cut a little bit too much off of this.
It's a 5.
See if Lisa can learn from her teammate and put one in the 6 ring.
You see nice straight bow.
25-meter uphill, and it's a 5.
It's a
2
5.
fives for Germany.
So that
Secondo
2
cinque
points
per la
over
Germania,
Italian
prima che
recurve shooter.
l'arciera Boscher, arco nudo,
In team
tira
round,
sua
people like to
ultima
think
freccia.
about matching their counterparts. So the compound shooter trying to match the compound, the recurve versus the recurve, and the barebow versus the barebow. takes her time, draws back. And you saw her
Germany
bow
takes
actually
the
cant a
lead
little
with
bit
a
to the
three.
side, which produced a left arrow there.
Vai in vantaggio di un punto sull'Italia.
But it was good enough to give Germany the lead,
Halfway through, Germany
and
leads
Italy will
by one, 28
lead
to
off on target number
27.
3. In field archery, a lot of archers talk about that the barebow shooter is the most important for team rounds, because usually compounds are pretty solidly in the 5 and the 6 ring. Recurves are generally
We move now
also
to
in the
the
5-6 ring,
shortest target
but barebow
of
has a
the
lot
final.
of instinctive
20
capabilities
centimeter
that they have
target,
to
the
learn
bunny.
and to shoot. So that
And
creates the greatest variability. So as long as the recurve and compounds do the job, it's the barebows that can really make up the difference.
difference.
So we're halfway through the match, and Germany's up by 1 point, which means Italy will continue to shoot first.
Normally the 20-meter bunny target would be one of the most hated targets for field shooters. But today on this finals course, it seems to be the easiest of the targets here due to its very low angle.
Support also for the Germans. And who is cheering for Italy?
We see the stands are pretty packed here. A lot of people came out to watch these finals matches. Again, we see each team setting their sight before they step up to the stake to shoot. Checking, double checking to make sure they have that right.
Shooting 30 meters at a 20-meter birdie will not put you in the scoring rings.
That looks like a 5, just high. Compound shooters really should be hitting 6s here. That's what you expect to see in a finals venue. And that's a 2 high, which that indicates to me she probably shot that for slightly the wrong distance, because her left and right was good. Just pretty high on that target. Now we come up, the barebow is shooting, I believe it's 10 meters. And that's also a 2 high. So that definitely opens the door for Germany to extend their lead.
Third target now for Germany after Italy shot at 9.
Birdie targets are exceptionally difficult because the margin for error is so small that even the slightest jump or the slightest change in distance can just throw it out into the 2 ring, as you saw.
Now compound shooters talk about losing a match on the bunny target because most people are going to put it in the middle. Recurvers talk about how that's a place they can pick up points, because typically a recurve archer is going to drop a point or 2 here. So Germany starts with a 4, so let's see what Lisa can do.
Ooh.
And she missed the target. Wow.
That is not something you see from Lisa very often.
That's pretty surprising. You see, again, she was right in the middle, left and right, so indicates she probably misset her sight, if I had to guess. She doesn't know. You can see on her face she doesn't know what she did, so I don't know. Now on the bunny target, each team member needs to shoot an arrow in one of the bullseyes. You cannot have more than 1 arrow in a particular bull. And we see she catches the 1 ring, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been. But it still gives them now a 3-point deficit to Italy going into that 4th and final target. So that was a huge game changer there. So can Italy take advantage of that? We will see.
As we head to the fourth target, it is going to be a 80-centimeter face directly up the slope. It's going to be extremely difficult for both recurves and barebows to get to their proper draw length, and it will just be hard to get your bow to that angle. And the larger the distance is, the more percentage you have to cut. So if I would have to say, you would have to shoot this for approximately 45 meters.
And again, we see holding their bow up to kind of judge that angle. And when we look at the target faces, you'll see they're actually at an angle because it's such a steep slope. The targets cannot be flat on the slope, or the scoring rings would actually be shrunken down in size and how much was available. So the targets are actually suspended at quite an angle to stay flat relative to the archer. So this target here could definitely be a game changer depending on how accurate they are in judging what this angle cut is. A great view here of how far down they really are and how steep up this is. So Germany leads off.
It's a 3.
Not sure where that, it was a 3. So we're
Basso a sinistra.
starting off with a decent first shot. I'm sure that's not what she wanted.
Let's see if Lisa can put one in the sixth ring, which Germany desperately needs here to take the gold.
You saw them talking to one another, telling her where to make the adjustment. You see, nice straight bow from Lisa. But she hits a 1. So low, even lower, and a little bit left. So can their barebow shooter put up a good arrow here? Because right now they only have a 1-point lead before Italy even shoots an arrow. So hitting low means they probably cut too much off. They thought the angle was steeper than what it was.
Third arrow of the German team.
And it's very hard to hold correctly in the yellow. Tendency is to hold low on this target. So people probably are going to tend to take too much off.
Oh.
0. Miss.
And that's a miss.
Italy
So that was a tough target for Germany. Let's see what Italy can do. They need 1 point out of 3 arrows to tie. Anything above that is going to win them a gold medal world championship title.
Ma questa piazzola, credetemi, è veramente dura.
So not a lot of pressure right here. They just have to get up there and shoot their shot with a halfway decent guess. This is really where you want to be in a finals venue. You want to have that advantage going in to know, hit the paper and you're good. And that just won them the match there, a 2. Gives them a 38 to a 37 without even shooting their last 2 arrows.
Even though Italy's just won, the compound shooter does not seem to be very happy with her shot.
You'll notice she hit high, meaning she probably didn't take enough off after watching Germany hit low. Ooh,
Miss.
And a miss. This is a tough target, folks.
And believe me, these are the best
Watching
women
these
we
ladies
have on
shoot
the field.
earlier
This
this
target
morning
is really
shows
hard.
they were not missing the 4 ring most of the day.
I would
So
challenge
seeing
anybody
them
to shoot
miss,
this target.
let alone hit a 2, is just shocking and shows the difficulty that this angle will give archers.
And we see how high she's got to lift her bow up. Look at that steep angle. And
Miss.
And also,
They got lucky. Wow. 38-37. So that bunny target made all the difference.
Both archers, but we have a new world champion.
Be interesting to see how the other teams will deal with that target later in the day.
So we'll see if anyone was paying attention. The teams that are coming up next, were they watching the women to see what happened? Are they going to make adjustments? We will find out. So again, we have Italy takes the gold and Germany with the silver medal.
And congratulations for silver medal, Germany.
So sometimes in these finals venues, we see it's not about hitting the good shots. It's about not making the mistakes. It's about not losing the match.
Già prima di cominciare
Next we have the
questo
men's
percorso
senior men's
era
full match.
There's your three winners, women's team champions.
the limit for these archers on this course. It's a really hard course.
They look happy, but not as happy as you are used to seeing champions.
2 hours ago for the
I think they're all a little frustrated with how they shot that last target, but they did what they needed to do to get the win, and that's